I didn't think I would find myself asking this question again after the Pistons got down to their final 3 candidates for their head coaching job, but here we are asking the same question. Is the Detroit Pistons job, the opening head coaching job, the most attractive job on the market? We're going to talk about that in today's episode of the Locked On Pistons podcast.
You are Locked On Pistons, your daily Detroit Pistons podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's the deal? Welcome back to another episode of the Locked On Pistons podcast. Per usual, I'm your host, Kuka Hill. You can find me over on Twitter at Kuka Hill. I want to thank you guys for making Locked On Pistons your first listen of every single day. We are free and available on all your podcast platforms. If you haven't already, head to the YouTube channel at Locked On Pistons. Hit that subscribe button. We're on our way to 10,000 subscribers. So if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. I'd really appreciate it. Or you can leave us a 5-star review on whatever podcast platform you're listening to this on. That's another great way to support the podcast. And today's episode is brought to you by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Last-minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed with Gametime. Today, it's lottery day. It's the day we've all been waiting for. It's finally here. We'll talk about that a little bit later. We'll have our final Tankathon sim before the lottery tonight. Oh my goodness, man. It's going to be a crazy night. It's either going to be an amazing night or it's going to be a very depressing night. So stay tuned, man. You guys, oh my goodness, man. This is going to make or break our offseason. I can already see it. But we'll get more into the lottery a little later. I find myself asking, like I mentioned in the cold open, the same question I asked a few weeks ago, which is the Detroit Pistons head coaching opening the most attractive job on the market? Excuse me. And you may be asking, why are you asking that question? The Pistons have found their 3 candidates, their 3 finalists. Why does that matter at this point? Well, it matters at this point because Monty Williams, the former head coach of the Phoenix Suns, has been fired. We talked about that in the last episode, whether the Pistons should go after him or not. And today, when I'm recording this May 15th, not only did Shams of The Athletic, he confirmed that the Pistons will be interested in Monty Williams, but they also went on to say that the Milwaukee Bucks will be interested. And there's some more reporting that went on and said that the Milwaukee Bucks may be aggressively going after Monty Williams. And if he does decide to coach another year, because he could take this year off, decide, I'm getting paid for the next 3 years, let me go ahead and just sit back and relax. So he could do that. But if he decides to coach this season, there are now reports saying that Milwaukee may be going aggressively after him. So now we're forced to revisit the question. How attractive is the Pistons head coaching job if they were to go after Monty Williams, and now they're having, they're kind of at his mercy who he gets to pick between, hoping he picks Detroit. If it does come to that, how attractive is this spot? So I talked about this a little bit the other day on Twitter, in a Twitter space. But look, if you get a chance to coach Giannis Antetokounmpo, who I believe is the best basketball player in the NBA, I think he's the best player in the world, it's going to be tough to beat that out. It's going to be tough to find a better job than to get to coach the best basketball player in the world, who's already won a championship, who has a fine team around him. I wouldn't say they're a great team around him. There's going to be some shakeups that happen with Milwaukee. But you have Giannis. They've won a championship before. And you're going to have a good team right out the gate. So it's going to be hard to overtake that as an attractive job if that's a team that's going after him. However, I think the Pistons have their own perks that, depending on the way you want to go about it from a head coaching candidate, the Pistons may come off as a more attractive team. And here, this would be like my argument for Monty Williams. If I was sitting in the interview process and not only was he pitching his ideas to us, at the end we're pitching our recruitment to him. Well, this is why I would say to Monty Williams. Number one, Monty, look, you're going to have long-term stability here. Bleacher Report came out with an article today as well that mentioned that the Pistons will not be, whoever takes over the head coaching job, whether it's Kevin Ollie, Monty Williams, Charles Lee, Jaron Collins, they're not going to be expected to get immediate wins right away. Now, are they going to be expected to win more than 17 games next year? Yes. Are they going to be expected to win 40, 50 games? No. Are they going to be expected to make the playoffs? Probably not. Like, that's not what they're going to be expected to do right out the gate. They're going to expect to see some improvement, but you're not going to be given this expectation of, hey, we want to hit this, and if you can't hit that, we might get you out of there. Therefore, there will be a sense of stability that maybe you won't have in these other markets. If you were to go and to coach in Milwaukee, Milwaukee is an immediate expectation. They're immediate title or bust kind of team because they have Giannis Antetokounmpo, the best player in the world. If you come to the Detroit Pistons, you do not have the expectation. You do not have that, that weight bearing on your shoulder that, hey, if I don't get this done this year, I may get fired. Whoever becomes the Pistons' next head coach, I think it's incredibly likely that they get like a 4 to 5 year contract, and they're really just tasked with developing the team. It sounds like that's what Troy Weaver wants to do. Through multiple reporting over the last few days, it sounds like that's what the Pistons are prioritizing. So you'll have stability. If you were to take the Pistons job, you don't have to worry about getting fired next year, unless you just do something crazy, obviously. You probably don't have to worry about getting fired. That would be my number one pitch to him. Secondly, yeah, you could go coach Giannis. Giannis would be great. Or you could coach this team that's going to have a really young crew, and you can grow with them just like you did with Phoenix. And when this team eventually does turn the corner, when this roster eventually does turn the corner and become a playoff team, win some playoff series, you can say that you were the one who was here to got them through this process from trash to playoff team to winning playoff series. You'll get a ton of the credit for this team, making their steps through becoming a competitive team in the NBA and winning playoff series. You'll get a ton of that credit for doing that. So that would be the next pitch I have to him. And then lastly, the next pitch I would have to him is this. And this requires some luck, which is crazy. We'll segue this into our next topic. But today's the lottery. If the Pistons were to get number one, Monty, you can coach Giannis. Or you can come over here and you can coach Kay Cunningham. You can coach Jaden Ivey, Jalen Duren, and now also Victor Wembanyama. You'll have the best young core in the entire NBA. We're talking about like potential, I don't want to say the word, but potential crazy stuff happening in Detroit if you have that core. If the Pistons were to get the number one overall pick in this draft, I think that would immediately make them the most attractive head coaching job on the market, despite the fact that Milwaukee's open and they have Giannis. The Pistons would have the best young core in the NBA. They have flexibility with the cap. They have a crazy young core asset-wise. It would be so attractive. So a lot of that depends on luck. So the Pistons are going to need that. And I know that we've kind of talked about that on the podcast over the last few weeks. Initially, Troy Weaver said, hey, we don't need the lottery to convince a guy to want to coach this team, blah, 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 blah. We shouldn't need that. And now you're seeing that the reports are saying they won't decide who they want to hire as the coach until after the lottery. Because it's common sense. If a team has a chance against Victor Wembanyama or to fall down, that kind of stuff will sway a guy. It just will. Like, we can say we don't think it should, but look, let's put ourselves in the coach's shoes. If I know that you have a chance against Victor Wembanyama, or I can go coach Giannis or something, why not just wait to see what the results are? Because if the Pistons were to fall to 5, and I'm choosing to coach the Pistons over having Giannis, like that's two crazy different things. So they're definitely waiting on the lottery, and that requires the Pistons to get some type of luck tonight. So if that would be the next pitch, we have a high lottery pick, you're going to have stability, and you won't have expectations to win immediately. So Monty, there's the pitch to come join Detroit. Also, you have relationships with dudes in the front office, specifically Troy Weaver, and again, Kay Cunningham. So that would be my pitch to Monty Williams. Do I think they have the best opening on the market? I think it depends on the lottery. If they win number one, yeah, I think it might be even more attractive than Milwaukee's. But without that, obviously, I think Milwaukee is clearly number one, all objective, all biases aside, just being completely objective. It's Giannis, dude. Of course it's the best spot. But I think Detroit's pretty attractive too, especially with this lottery tonight. So let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think the Pistons can, I don't want to say outbid, but win if they were to go after Monty Williams for real, could they win the Monty Williams sweepstakes, I guess you could say, against Milwaukee? Let me know in the comment section down below or over on Twitter at Kuka. When we come back, the lottery is here. It's about time. It's going to be some crazy stuff that happens tonight. We're going to talk about the lottery, what could possibly happen tonight. But first, I've got to tell you guys about one of our sponsors, Gametime. Buying tickets to your favorite events should not be stressful. Gametime is the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater shows near you. With killer deals on last-minute tickets and their best price guarantee, you can stop stressing over the tickets and start getting hyped for the fun that you'll have. Flash deals, last-minute tickets, easy to find, and buy tickets for every kind of event in your area. You get images of the seat that you want before purchasing it. And again, lowest price guarantee, event cancellation protection, job loss protection, etc., etc. Forget planning months in advance. Gametime has deals on tickets right up to the day of the event. Get exclusive flash deals on tickets for football, basketball, baseball, concerts, comedy, theater, and more. The Gametime guarantee means you'll always get the best price if you find tickets in the same section or row for for less. Gametime will credit you 110% of the difference. Again, you can get images of your seat before you buy so you know exactly where you are when you arrive. Buy tickets in a matter of seconds, just 2 taps and you're set. Tickets are sent directly to your phone so you never have to dig through your email. Snag the tickets without the stress with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download Gametime today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed with Gametime. So I want to thank you guys again for making Locked On Pistons your first listen of every single day. We are free and available on all your podcast platforms. And if you haven't already, head to the YouTube channel at Locked On Pistons. Hit that subscribe button. We're on our way to 10,000 subscribers. I would really appreciate it. Or you can leave us a 5-star review on whatever podcast platform you're listening to this on. That's another great way to support the podcast. Tonight's the night, man. Tonight is the night. The Pistons offseason really begins right here. You got the draft coming up. You got the free agency coming up. But the lottery is teams like the Pistons championship, especially this year. Other years, it's the same kind of thing, with Cade. Obviously, the Pistons won that championship. They won the Cade championship. When Zion was coming out, the Zion championships. But I don't know if we've had quite the lottery championship in quite some time. Maybe even going all the way back to LeBron. Maybe even better than LeBron. Then this lottery right here with Victor Wembanyama at the top of this draft. This is what every team at the top of the lottery has been waiting for. This lottery here, there's other drafts, there's other lotteries where, like, obviously you like to move up, you like to have a top pick. But there's not many lotteries, there's not many drafts with a dude at the top of the draft that everyone universally agrees will immediately alter your franchise. If you get Victor Wembanyama, it changes your franchise. It takes you to a completely different level, especially if you're a team like Detroit who already has a nice young core. If you add Victor Wembanyama, it just takes you to different heights. This lottery is it's crazy. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and say it right now. And yes, this is what this segment's going to be. It's just us, letting our emotions out. Because today's the day, and it's going to be, I'm going to have so much anxiety at work. Like, it's going to be, oh my goodness, man. But look, and this might be the truth. This might legit be the truth. This might be the most important event for Pistons fans that have been fans over the last 10 years. What's another event that's been more critical than this? There's been no playoff series that anyone thought we would actually win. Got swept by Cleveland, swept by Milwaukee with an injured Blake. Like, it's what other event could have such more of an impact on this team than this event right now in the past decade? I want you guys to tell me. Because if the Pistons were to get number 1 in this draft and get Victor, there's not a single other moment in the past 15 years that would be more important than this. That's how crazy this night is. So, please get Victor. That's basically what I'm capping this off with. Please, lottery gods, draft gods, NBA gods, listen. Please. We need the number 1 overall pick. The Pistons finished with the worst record in the entire NBA by 5 games, man. By 5 games. The fact that they have to share the top odds with 2 other teams while being the worst team by 5 games, it's criminal. It's just criminal. Screw these new lottery odds. This is stupid. I do not like this. This is just, it's not fair. No. We should have a way higher chance at number 1. But look, moving past just getting number 1. Obviously, look, I think I said enough, and I think everyone understands. Getting number one it's just franchise altering. But I guess the next question is, okay, cool, it's obviously a 14% chance to get one. There's a lot higher chance they don't get one. They fall at 2, 3, 4, 5. What happens if they fall at any of these picks? Well, I've said this on the podcast before, and I say it every time. Do not take me literally. I hope you guys can understand what I'm saying here. I don't have people taking me quite literally. I feel like this is almost Wemby or bust, because I'm not saying that these other prospects won't be great. I think Scoot's an amazing prospect. But Wemby, I feel like, is the only prospect in this draft for the Detroit Pistons that will change the direction of the franchise. Like himself, simply adding him to the team not only changes the direction of the franchise on the court, it changes the direction of the city. I have to assume it helped the economy. People would have more eyes in Detroit. People would show up to the games for Detroit. You'd get national TV. People are caring about what's going on in Detroit sports. You have all the lights on you. Like, it would change the vibe around the city. Like, it's not just the on-court play. Victor would change everything around Detroit sports legit. Like, that's how crazy this dude is. So that's why I've been saying, kind of jokingly, tongue-in-cheek, Wemby or bust. But if they were to fall past one, obviously, and there's a high chance they can do that. 2, I mean, if they fall to 2, then we're going to have to deal with the Civil War for the next few months, or next month and a half, of Scoot versus Brandon Miller that's been going on. And the Pistons fan base, me, the community, everyone involved with the Pistons media, it's going to be a civil war. It legit is just going to be everyone going after each other, trying to hurt each other. Like, it's going to be crazy. It's going to be so toxic. If they fall to 3, now it's a matter of, okay, who's at 2? It's likely that anyone else that goes that would be at 2 is taking Scoot. So now it's, okay, do you take Brandon Miller? Which looks like that a lot of fans seem to be convinced that Brandon Miller is that dude. Or, like I've been pushing for, do you take Amen Thompson, even though he can't shoot, just because he's a better prospect, in my opinion? Do you take the better prospect at 3, or do you take Brandon Miller? And then if you fall to 4, now you're looking at Amen Thompson, maybe Brandon Miller falls to 4, but now you're also looking at, okay, Jarris Walker, Taylor Hendricks. There's a bunch of different dudes now, and once you get to that point, depending on who's there at like 5, I feel like at that point you're really kind of picking from a few tiers below the top of the draft. So I think the Pistons can stay top 3 in my opinion. If they were to stay top 3, they'll still leave this draft with a player I believe can be a star in the NBA. If they fall past 3, I don't have the same confidence that they'll have a star. Do I think they'll get a good player? Yes. But I feel like for me, the comfortability is top 3 because I have Wemby in his own tier, and then I got Scoot and Amen in a tier. And I feel like after that, it drops off a little bit. And that's what my board looks like right now. So if the Pistons can stay top 3, I'm gonna be mad that they don't get 1, but I'll feel okay because I feel like they'll still be getting a star if they pick who I believe is the right people to pick. Maybe they disagree. Maybe they have someone else higher. Maybe they have the second tier a little deeper. Maybe they feel good going to 4. I don't think so, or James Edwards wouldn't have wrote the article a few weeks ago talking about the Pistons potentially trading pick 5. That tells me the fact James wrote that article, and I'm reading in between the lines, that tells me that the Pistons don't feel strongly about prospects once they fall that far. So I feel like they probably have a top, and then if they miss out on that top, they would consider moving back. They would consider trading back into the draft. They would consider trading it for a ready-now player. Like, that's why I pick up from that. So, and to end this segment off, please get Wemby. Just please. That's what we need. That's what this fan base needs. That's what we all need. After this season, this torturous season that we all had to witness without Cade, the torturous product on the floor. There's no team based on this past season that is more deserving on getting Victor Wembanyama than the Detroit Pistons. Also, I have another reason before we move on to the last segment and do our final Tankathon spin before the draft, or before the lottery. Did you guys know that, excuse me, let's go ahead and read this. Did you guys know the word Detroit is French for straight, and the French called the river Lake Detroit du Lake Erie, meaning the Strait of Lake Erie, on July 24, 1701. A French explorer and nobleman by the name of Antoine de la Mothe founded Detroit. So Detroit, in the end, it was founded by the French. Where's Victor Wembanyama from? France. Oh, there's a connection. That's another reason why the Pistons deserve it. I'm reaching there. Maybe not. Maybe so. Who cares? Please, just give us Victor Wembanyama. That's all we need. We'll wrap it up there, man. Do you guys feel as strongly as I am about like this draft tonight or this lottery tonight? Like how big this could potentially be for the franchise? Let me know that in the comment section down below or over on Twitter at Kuka Hill. When we come back, we're doing our final Tankathon sim. Hopefully we have some good luck. Stay tuned for that when we come back. But first, I've got to tell you guys about one of our sponsors, PrizePicks. Every day of the NBA playoffs and finals, one PrizePicks user will win a chance at becoming a millionaire. One entry placed after 8 a.m. Eastern Time will be randomly selected each day. Whoever placed that entry will be given a 6-pick flex with the following payouts. 6 correct picks, $1 million. 5 correct picks, $80,000. 4 correct picks, $16,000. Full details can be found at prizepicks.com/million. You must opt in at this link to be eligible for the $1 million entry. Once you opt in, all you have to do is play the game like normal, and you could be the lucky winner. Now, you may be asking, Q, what does playing the game like normal mean? How do you even play the game? Well, you pick 2 to 6 players and see if they score more or less than their PrizePicks projection. You can win up to 25 times your money on any entry. No competing against other people, it's just you versus the projections available. PrizePicks offers projections on any sport that you watch, and I mean it, just about any sport out there. If you think of it, it's on there. Entries can be made in 60 seconds or less. It's just that easy. Safe and fast withdrawals, currently operational over 30 states and Canada. Download the PrizePicks app or go to prizepicks.com to sign up and play daily fantasy sports today. First-time users can receive a 100% instant deposit match up to $100 with promo code LOCKEDON. If you deposit $100, PrizePicks will give you $100. If you deposit $50, PrizePicks will give you $50. Don't forget to enter promo code LOCKEDON and sign up for an instant deposit match up to $100 with PrizePicks. So I want to thank you guys again for making Locked On Pistons your first listen of every single day. We're free and available on all your podcast platforms. If you haven't already, head to the YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. It's the best way to support the podcast. Or you can leave us a 5-star review on whatever podcast platform you're listening to this on. That's another great way to support the podcast. This is the final one, guys. Final one. This last segment's not going to be long at all. It's not going to be long at all. We've waited a few months. The offseason doesn't even really begin until tonight. Before Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals, we find out how this offseason is going to go for the Detroit Pistons. And this last Tankathon Spin will let us know. Am I breathing positivity into the air? Is Tankathon breathing positivity into the air for the Detroit Pistons? Or are we doomed before you even start? Let's click Sim Lottery. We're doomed. We're just so doomed. We're just Every time I do this, I kid you guys not, I feel like it's 99% of the time. What is it? 47.9% chance we get 5? They lie. It's like 90% chance you get 5. Because every time I do this damn Tankathon Spin, the Pistons fall to 5. And the team that jumps to 1 to get Victor Wembanyama doesn't even deserve him. They don't even want to win. They're completely fine being mediocre in the Washington Wizards. They're completely fine finishing 8th seed every single year, happy and smile all about it. What the hell do they do to deserve it? And in this spin right here, we had Charlotte jump up to 2, Orlando jump to 3, Utah jump 5 spots. Like, what's going on here? Everyone at the top of the draft fell super far. I don't think I've ever, like, you know what? We're gonna wrap it up here and say this. What I just did doesn't matter. We're gonna put it on a blank sheet, crumple it up, and throw it in the trash and act like it never happened. And we're just going to assume that I got number 1 and we're, breathing good luck into the air and it's gonna happen tonight. You guys can't see it in the background, but, I have my lucky... You guys remember last year, it didn't work last year. Well, actually, maybe it did because they ended up with Jay Ivey at 5. So maybe technically we didn't know that it worked at the time, but it actually ended up working because if we would have moved up, maybe we don't get Jay Ivey. So maybe it actually worked. Actually, you know what? I just thought about that. It worked. My lucky handy-dandy notebook back there, it worked. Brought it to the lottery last year. We'll be bringing it to this year. And when I say lucky handy-dandy notebook, yes, I'm talking about like the Blue's Clues notebook. Yes, it's back there, and we'll be bringing it to the lottery this year. So bring whatever you guys got at 8 o'clock. Whatever your good luck charm, bring it out. Wherever it is, bring it out. You guys need to breathe nothing but positive energy throughout the entire day. If someone's mean to you, so someone nasty to you, smile back and tell them the lottery's tonight. There's nothing for us to be sad about. The entire day, our job as Pistons fans, as members of the Pistons community, is to be positive throughout the day and only show happiness. Those of you who don't do that, if we fall, it's your fault and we're coming after you. We're blaming you. The ones of you who do not echo positive thoughts throughout the day, we're coming after you and we're blaming you. So this podcast basically is just as you guys can see at the end of it, this podcast was basically just a begging of please win the lottery. Please win and get Victor Wembanyama. That literally all this podcast is really about. You guys I can't wait for you guys to see my face in the next podcast. All of you guys who listen on the podcast platforms, I'm going to say the next episode, please watch on YouTube, because depending on how the lottery goes, there's all kinds of different emotions, all kinds. I don't know the version of Kuka Hill that's going to be on the podcast, the next one. Like, for the love of everything holy. That's all I've got for you guys today, man. Stay tuned for the lottery tonight. Thank you guys for making Locked On Pistons your first listen of every single day. Hit that subscribe button on the YouTube channel. Leave us a 5-star review on whatever podcast platform you're listening to this on. Until next time, I'll see you guys later. We got this tonight. We got this. Till next time, peace out. Just peace out, man. Peace out.